Good morning, students. Today we are going to start our Mauryan Empire. But you will get in today's worksheet the Jainism Buddhism question answers. Okay, so follow the worksheet today's section. In today's video, I am going to explain you the Mauryan Empire as we have already completed the Jainism and Buddhism. The Mauryas. The establishment of the Mauryan Empire marks the beginning of the new period in the Indian history. What was it? For the first time, a large part of the country was politically unified under the Mauryas. Sources. There are literary sources. Arthashastra, which was written by Chanakya Kautilya. This book deals with the art of administration and politics. Indica was written by Megasthenes, the Greek ambassador to the court of Chandragupta Maurya. This book provides valuable information on the administration and on the economic and social condition of that period. Okay, so Arthashastra and Indica were the literary sources to study the proofs of the Mauryan Empire, that they existed and how they existed, how they lived, the people, how they survived. These all answers were there, which was written in the Arthashastra and Indica. Next, there are certain archaeological sources also to study about the Mauryan Empire. The rock and the pillar edicts of Ashoka also provide valuable information about the Mauryan Empire. The silver coins of the Mauryas tell us a lot about the economic conditions under the Mauryas. Like, suppose Chandragupta Maurya. In 321 BCE, Chandragupta Maurya overthrew the last Nanda king, that was Dhanananda, and seized the throne of the Magadha. His success was largely due to the guidance and training of his advisor, that was Chanakya. So Chandragupta was an official in the army of the Nandas. Who was Chandragupta? He was an official in the army of the Nandas, and his main intention was to overthrow the extremely unpopular Dhanananda. He escaped to Punjab, where he met Chanakya. He learned and with the wise Brahman scholars and a teacher in Taxila University. So Chanakya, what happened? Chanakya was an official in the army. As he wanted to overthrow extremely unpopular Dhanananda, he escaped to Punjab. There he met Chanakya and learned, and the wise Brahmana scholar and a teacher in Taxila University, Chanakya was. So Chanakya, who had a personal grudge against Dhanananda also, here Chanakya also had. So he supported Chandragupta a lot. So, who had a personal grudge against Dhanananda, trained Chandragupta in the arts of warfare and administration. He helped Chandragupta to organize an army and seize the throne of Magad. He trained him. He made him understand all the techniques and tricks by overthrowing Dhanananda. Chanakya's guidance was as valuable as Chandragupta's bravery and military strength in laying the foundation of the Mauryan Empire. A few years after Alexander's death, fighting broke out between his generals for the control of his vast empire. Seleucus, one of Alexander's generals, became the popular ruler of the territory, stretching from Asia Minor to the Indus. So in 305 BCE, he crossed the Indus . to recover the territories that Alexander had conquered earlier. Chandragupta Maurya defeated him and freed northwestern India from Greek control. Seleucus was compelled to sign a treaty according to which he had to give eastern Afghanistan, Balochistan, and the areas west of Indus to Chandragupta. He gave his daughter to Chandragupta in marriage and sent Megasthenes as ambassador to Chandragupta court. In return, Seleucus received 500 war elephants. Chandragupta Maurya built a vast empire which was the first great empire in Indian history. By the end of his reign, the Mauryan Empire stretched from Hindu Kush in northwest to Bengal in the east, and from the Himalayas in the north to Narmada in the south. So the powerful kingdom of Kalinga in the east, however, was independent. Bindusara. Chandragupta Maurya was succeeded by his son Bindusara, who ruled for about 25 years. During his reign, the empire extended up to Mysore, and he was succeeded by his son Ashoka. Underline it. Bindusara. Chandragupta Maurya was succeeded by his son Bindusara, who ruled for 25 years. During his extended up to Mysore, he was then succeeded by his son Ashoka. So Chandragupta Maurya, then Bindusara, then Ashoka. Now Ashoka's history will study. Ashoka, when ascended the throne in 273 BC, Kalinga was the only kingdom that was not under Mauryan control. Kalinga was a powerful kingdom. It controlled the land and the sea routes to South India and Southeast Asia. Control of this region would give Ashoka the key to greater economic prosperity. In 261 BCE, Ashoka attacked Kalinga and conquered it after a bitter struggle. His empire now stretched from the Himalayas in the north to Mysore in the south, and from the Hindu Kush in the northwest to the Brahmaputra in the east. So it also included Kabul, Kandahar, Herat, and parts of Nepal and Kashmir. Ashoka's victory in Kalinga did not bring him any joy and satisfaction. Ashoka attacked Kalinga, I am repeating, in 261 BCE. Ashoka attacked Kalinga and conquered it after a bitter struggle. His empire stretched from Himalayas, underline it, Himalayas to the north, to Mysore in the south, and from Hindu Kush in the northwest to Brahmaputra in the east. It also included Kabul, Kandahar, Herat, and parts of Nepal and Kashmir. Ashoka's victory in Kalinga did not bring him any joy and satisfaction. The death, destruction, and great human suffering in this war filled his heart with sorrow and remorse. The Kalinga War became a turning point in Ashoka's life. He made up his mind to give So Kalinga War became a turning point in Ashoka's life, and he made up his mind to give up all the warfare techniques as he conquered the hearts of the people with love. Kalinga, which was a prosperous kingdom located between the rivers Godavari and Mahanadi near Bay of Bengal, it had infantry of nearly 60,000 men about 10,000 horsemen, and around 600 elephants. Ashoka attacked the kingdom to capture his fertile land, and it is said that in this battle, around 1 lakh people were killed and around 1,50,000 soldiers were taken as prisoners. So many life was hampered, so many families were hampered, so many children lost their parents. So warfare and conquer in hearts of people with love he wanted to spread. Ashoka was deeply influenced by the Buddhist principles now. Now Buddhism entered of compassion, peace and non-violence. He embraced Buddhism and devoted his life to the moral and materials of welfare of his subjects. Thus the policy of Digvijaya, that is conquest of territories, was replaced by Dhamma Vijaya, that was conquest through Dharma. So there was Ashoka's Dhamma also. What was this Ashoka's Dhamma? The word Dhamma is derived from the Sanskrit word that is Dharma. Underline it. Underline. Which means religious duty. Ashoka's idea of Dhamma was based on human values and a code of conduct inspired by the noble teachings of Buddha. He dedicated his life to the spread of the message of Dhamma in India and abroad. The main principles of Dhamma were as follows. Number 1. People should live in peace and harmony. Underline. Everyone should follow ahimsa, means non-violence, not to injure anyone. People should love one another and show tolerance and respect towards other religions. Children should obey their elders and elders should treat children with understanding. People should be truthful, charitable and kind to all. So there were certain propagations of Dhamma. How it was propagated, how it was spread. Ashoka set a personal example by strictly following the principles, the rules of Dhamma and inspiring others to do the same. He visited all the places associated with the life of Buddha. What was intention? He wanted to visit all the places. Why? He wanted to spread peace. He wanted to spread harmony to the common people. He wanted to live with them. He wanted to understand their queries, problems, needs and wants. He ordered the construction of Buddhist monasteries. He sent learned Buddhist scholars to distant lands to spread Buddhism. His son Mahendra and daughter Sanghamitra were sent to Sri Lanka to spread the message of Buddhism. Special officers called Dhamma Mahamattas were appointed to spread and enforce the principles of Dhamma throughout the kingdom and all over kingdom. Special officers called Dhamma Mahamattas. Underline it. Who were Dhamma Mahamattas? They were special officers. Why? They were mainly appointed to spread and enforce the principles. Spread means to rotate to all the people, enforce so that people can apply it, understand it, adopt it, Dhamma throughout the kingdom. Next. So the principles of Dhamma were engraved in Prakrit on rocks, pillars and caves so that people could read and follow them. He organized the Third Buddhist Council at Patliputra to discuss ways of propagating Buddhism. Ashokan edicts are a source of valuable information of the Mauryan period. They are royal commands of proclamations and were inscribed on rocks, polished stone pillars, and also caves. Edicts were composed in Prakrit, the language of the people, and written in Brahmi script. So, in the northwest, they were written in Greek, Kharoshthi, and Aramaic language. So, in these written forms, it was written. So, Ashokan rock edicts in Junagadh. These edicts inscribed, certain pictures are given on rocks, pillars, decomposed in Prakrit and written using in the Brahmi script. So, there were certain idols of the kingship. These idols of the kingship we will study in the next class with certain more revisions on this lesson in the next video with important words to read in this lesson. These all we will do in the next class. So in today's worksheet I will give you previous Jainism Buddhism's worksheet question answers. Okay, you will get the question answers of Jainism Buddhism in the worksheet. Today you only read this lesson, that is Mauryan Empire, and next class, video class, I will end this lesson and I will give you the question answers, related short questions from this lesson which you have to read. Okay students, thank you.